Get ready for an unfair advantage over your competition. This is the Sales Edge podcast, where globally recognized sales expert and trainer Joe Peachy helps you sharpen your skills for booking more appointments and closing more deals. And now, here's your host, Joe Peachy.
Welcome back to the Sales Edge. This is Joe Peachy, and the Sales Edge is sponsored by Peachy & Peachy, sales training, coaching, consulting firm, helps their clients achieve more, get to the next level, get in front of their target market. And today we're going to be talking about sales. You know, this is podcast number 60, and wow, that excites me. When we got first started in podcasting, my son said to me very succinctly, he said, "Dad," he said, "if you're going to podcast. Most podcasts, becomes infrequent. We made a commitment to you, our audience, that we would be consistent. We would turn out to every week, every Tuesday, every Thursday, the Sales Edge on all of the podcast channels have a new episode." And so today, we're inviting you to be part of this. We're inviting you to share this with other people. If you like the content, if you like what we're doing, can you like it? Can you share it? Can you write a comment about it? Also, feel free to disagree. Feel free to send me an email at joe@PICIANDPICI.com, or I'm always open for you to pick up the phone and get a complimentary cup of Joe. I won't be defensive. I'll listen. I have people that call me and go, "Joe, I disagree with X," and I'm fine with that. I don't have all the answers. And so you can also, joe@PICIANDPICI.com. You can send me an email. Now, if you want your name on the podcast, I'll give you credit. If you don't, it'll be anonymous. So you can either email me or you can call me, once again, 407-947-2590. And so today is going to have a sales focus. It's funny because our real niche, when you look at our niche, we do a number of things, of course, but really what we're known for, what I guess got me the number 3 ranking of global gurus as a sales trainer and speaker, is our focus on sales, our focus on the process, procedures, and skills of selling. And so today, this topic is going to be the 7 real objections for sales. Okay, 7 real objections for sales. I'm always asked about, "Joe, how do you overcome objections? Joe, can you work with our team at overcoming objections? Joe, is there any secrets at overcoming objectives?" First, let's look at what it says in the dictionary about an objection. It is a reason, an argument, a disagreement, opposition, or rebuttal. It is the act of objection, opposing, or disputing. It's disagreement. It's to oppose. But really, when it comes to sales, an objection is, quote unquote, a Joeism, the reason a prospect is not ready to buy. Now, think about that. How many definitions you think about, but really when it comes down to is, what do they say to you when they're not ready to say yes? That's their objection. And I will tell you that in our training, we always teach people how to overcome 95% of objections in the meeting. Today, I'm going to be talking about the objections. There are objections that are real, and there are objections that are not. And for you seasoned salespeople that are listening to this, you've heard it all. For you new people to the game, you haven't heard all these yet, but you will. For you business owners, you've given them and you've received them. So I want you to think about some of the objections you've heard, some of the things that people have said to you when they're not ready to say yes. Here is a list of many objections you will hear. I got this from HubSpot, and you can Google HubSpot. They are just a big CRM, a big, they do tracking, they do forecasting. It's a monster business. But they did a study on objections. They came up with 40. So I'm going to read these 40 objections. Why don't you put a check mark by the ones you've heard? It's too expensive. Or, there's just no money. That's number 2. Number 3, we don't have any budget left for this. Number 4, I need to use a budget somewhere else. Number 5, I don't want to get stuck in a contract with you. Number 6, we're already working with another vendor. Number 7, I'm locked into a contract with one of your competitors. Number 8, I can get a cheaper version somewhere else. Number 9, I'm happy with my present vendor, which may be your competitor. Number 10, competitor X says this about you and your product, and it's usually false. Okay. Number 11, I'm not authorized to sign off on this. Number 12, I can't sell this internally. Number 13, I'm not convinced. Number 14, we're being downsized or bought out. Number 15, there's too much going on right now. Number 16, I'm part of a buying group. Number 17, I've never heard of your company. Number 18, we're going great in this area. Number 19, we don't have a business plan. Number 20, it's just not that important now. Number 21, I don't see what your product can do for me. Number 22, I don't understand your product. Number 23, I've heard complaints about you from other people. Now let's go to number 24. We don't have the capacity to implement your product or service. Number 25, your product is just too complicated. Number 26, you don't understand my challenges. I need help with X. Number 27, you don't understand my business. Number 28, your product doesn't have X feature and we need it. Number 29, we're happy the way things are. Number 30, I don't see the potential for ROI. Number 31, your product is just a fad. Number 32, your product or service doesn't work with my current setup. Number 33, your product sounds great, but I'm too swamped right now. Number 34, click. That means they hung up on you. Number 35, I'm too busy right now. Number 36, I'm just not interested. Number 37, just send more information. Number 38, call me back next quarter. Number 39, how did you get my name? And number 40, I don't believe you. Well, those are just 40. That came from HubSpot. And, I've broken it down. In 27 years of me selling, coaching sales companies and teams, I believe there are 7 real objections. I mean, they come in all different shapes and sizes, and a lot of ones I just read might say some of these things. But I think when it comes right down to it, right down to the very core, there are 7 real sales objections. Number 1, no need. In other words, they don't need what you have. They don't have a deep-seated need to go with you to buy your product, to buy your service. There's nothing there, okay? That's a big thing. And I'm telling you right now, most times we sit in front of people that don't have a need because we're so suave at getting in front of people. Number 2, no money. Yes, it is true. There are just some companies and some individuals that flat out don't have the money right now, okay? That doesn't mean they're not going to buy down the road, but, I hear all these people say, well, you know what you can say, and you know what you can say. You know what? There is just sometimes, folks, that they don't have the money, that the money is not in their company. They don't have the money, the ability to access money, so therefore they can't move forward with you. Number 3, no desired result. In other words, they're at a certain place. They have not established where do we want to go. They don't have a vision. They don't have a goal. They don't have an objective. They don't have the foresight at this point to project what is it that they want to accomplish. Where do they want to go with this? What do they need to happen? And so therefore, when there's no desired result, usually there's no change in behavior. There's no forward movement. Number 4, and I believe the deepest, is there's no pain. There's not a situation that troubles them to the point where money is not the issue. Okay? The deeper the pain, the more likely they are to find the money. And if there is no pain, if there's not something beyond a shadow of doubt they're looking to fix, then all the logic and all the persuasion and all the overcoming objections coaching out there, no pain, no purchase. Your ability to find it, establish it, define it can help. But if there is no pain, usually there's just something else they'd rather do with the money. The next one, there's no timetable. Without a timetable, purchasing doesn't happen. And so now we're looking at, a real objection is that they do not have a timeline. And so you're in there trying to sell logic to a person that does not have a timeline. I sat with a gentleman just the other day, and he's looking to start his own business. And we established the pain. We established a desired result. And when we got to timeline, I said, do you know when you want to overcome these challenges so we can begin to launch your company so you can get to this number, desired result? He said, yeah, May 1st. I mean, he absolutely dropped dead, had a date. Now, I can tell you, if that date is true, we're probably moving forward. If it's not, we're probably not. That was number 5. Number 6, no trust. Folks, people buy, yes, from people they know, they like, and they trust. But I think the most important of those 3 things that will cause a person to move forward with you or not move forward with you is they don't trust you. A lot of my business is with people I didn't know. A lot of my business comes from cold. A lot of my business comes from LinkedIn leads. A lot of my business are from people that don't know me. And if I have not established a trust with them, just because they can Google me and find me number 3 in the world on Global Gurus and all this quote-unquote notoriety we're getting, if they don't trust me, we're not moving forward. And so what are we doing here? And number 7, no clarity. And clarity is a combination, once again, is what do they want as an end result, when do they want it, and why they want it. If those 3 things do not come into play, if there is not a clarity, there's no decision. And so the 7 real objections, according to Joe-ism, no need, no money, no desired result, no pain, no timeline, no trust, or no clarity. Here are some keys to reducing objections. Now, I didn't say overcoming. I said reducing. You will never get rid of all of them. So here are 5 things that I would recommend that you do that will help you reduce some of the objections you're getting. Number 1, Use a strong value proposition in setting up the meeting. Don't talk your way into a meeting. Qualify the meeting. Number 2, work hard to make sure you're presenting to the decision maker. And in a couple of weeks, I'm going to go through how you can get that done. I don't have time at this point, but make sure you're sitting with the one with the checkbook. I said that in the networking events. So many times people send their employees to a meeting and they don't come, and the employees don't have the power to make that decision. So when you to reduce some of the objections, make sure you're sitting with the one with the checkbook. Number 3, have a consultative core story, which is your sales presentation, which means you're going to be selling, at a consultative approach, building trust, realizing that transactional sales will bring up objections quicker because they're afraid to buy quickly. A consultative approach has the client doing most of the talking and helps them understand that if today is not okay, if we can't go today, that's okay. We may work together down the road. Number 4, discover, discover, discover. Make sure you're asking questions and you're finding, you're illuminating some of those potential objections up front. And number 5, sell uniqueness and value. Don't sell on price. And so when you look at, I want you to sit down, and now if you're on a stationary bike or if you're walking or running and you're listening to this podcast, you're not going to be able to do this, but maybe go back. And I want you to write down the list of objections that you get when you're selling. And you got the ones I gave you from HubSpot, and you got the 7 real ones that I believe are the hurdle between purchasing and not purchasing. But write down the ones that you're struggling with, and here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Can you send them to me, and I can address them? And maybe I can give you some coaching points on it. Can you call me and say, these are objections I'm getting? We want to help you with this. We want this to be interactive. And so as we're closing down here on podcast number 60, a couple things that will have value for you. When you look back and you look at this 60 podcast, why don't you go back and pick some titles and re-listen and see if, as we've developed this process, some of those past podcasts will have more relevance now and have deeper meaning for you. Okay? Remember, starting in January, we will be kicking off Giants of Transition. Don't be surprised if you get a call asking to be on our show. Okay? Take out your phone and type in 55678, one-word message, Sales Edge. Hit that to a link to a landing page. You can download free ebooks. You can also pass this on to people, because on the bottom of that, besides the free ebooks and some videos, there'll be links to our podcasts. We're asking you to do a couple things for us, if you wouldn't mind. Would you please, if this is valuable to you, can you like it? Can you share it? Can you write a comment on it? We're excited about where we're going. These first 60 podcasts have been foundational. We're asking you to feel free to let us know, are there other topics you'd like to see are in our wheelhouse? We are going to start having guests. And so hopefully these first 60 have been of value to your toolbox. And have a great day, and we'll see you podcast number 61.
Thanks for listening. New episodes will air each Tuesday and Thursday, so make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and give us a 5-star review. The Sales Edge is sponsored by Peachy & Peachy Incorporated, a firm which provides training, consulting, and keynote presentations, empowering corporations and individuals to attract and retain quality clients for higher revenues and growth. Make more money in sales. Speak with Joe in person by calling 407-947-2590 or visit www.peachyandpeachy.com. Spelled PICIAND, PICI.com.